welcome to the Iorì wase Front Page podcast. In today's episode, we talk to Tewatohnhi'saktha Executive Director Neil McComber and Rathi Param about the North American College of Pharmaceutical Technology's interest in operating a training facility here in Kahnawake. This podcast has been brought to you by First Nations Fiber.
First Nations Wireless is now First Nations Fiber. You've seen our team working through the community to get you connected. From the new development to the OCR, from the 207 to Clay Mountains, FN Fiber makes fiber optic internet easy for everyone. Coming to Kahnawake soon. Visit radio.fnfiber.com to sign up today.
Hey everyone, my name is Jordan Standup. I am the assistant editor here at Iorì wase, and today I'm joined by two special guests. I have Tewatohnhi'saktha Executive Director Neil McComber and as well as Rathi Param from the North American College of Pharmaceutical Technology. So thank you both for joining me today.
Yeah, for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Now, Rathi, I'd like to turn my attention to you as we begin because I was hoping you could give us a little bit of a background of the North American College of Pharmaceutical Technology as well as some of the programs that are offered there.
Definitely. So North American College of Pharmaceutical Technology, this is the operating name of NACPT Pharma College, and our brand is NACPT, and the legal name is NACPT Pharma College, and we are registered under the Ministry of Training, Colleges and Universities in Ontario, and we have two campuses at this point, one in Toronto and one in Mississauga City. And we have been operating our, campuses in from the main location more than 10 years. And right now, we are actually integrating our training program in various sectors. Mainly, we are focusing on healthcare sectors, and we do have a specialty program in pharmaceutical sectors, medical cannabis sectors, healthcare sectors, and as well as some other related sectors. So our programs are very unique and healthcare related program. And at this point, we also expanded our training program in other sectors. I would say hospitality and tourism, accounting and payroll, international business administration, as well as we do coaching for various licensing process. For an example, for real estate license coaching, cancel, food handler certification. So we do provide a lot of coaching for a number of certification program as well. So we do have wide variety program, and which is focusing mainly on skill development and helping people to get job as well as developing business in various sectors as well. So this is our brief introduction as an institution.
Okay, and the NACPT recently expressed some interest about having a facility here in Kahnawake. Now, Neil, I was hoping you could tell me how Tewatohnhi'saktha factors into all of this.
Okay, so in 2019, we got a new mandate, and part of that mandate included business attraction as a component. And so we discussed it with the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake. This particular file, a group of individuals from the community took training with Rathi's program through the NACPT, which Tewatohnhi'saktha partially subsidized. And that's how Rathi came to be known in the community. A community member, Ryan Montour, can be named now. He was a community member at the time, found out that Rathi and her group were interested in moving to the Montreal area, and he asked her, why not Kahnawake? Why not consider Kahnawake? And they were open to that idea. When I came on board in November of 2020, he let me know that they were interested in moving to Montreal area, and Kahnawake was to be considered for them. So I had been speaking to them for approximately 1 year now, just finding out what they're all about, etc. And that's how it came to be. So when we spoke to the MCK in this, because revenue generation had transferred from DEWA to MCK, and when it transferred, it changed the scope of how we do these things. So in this case, we were just looking at it from our role is to attract businesses to the community and then to assess where they could fit, etc. And in this case, we felt like it needed community consultation on this particular file, and we needed to ask the community what they think, because we felt like the community should have a say on whether or not non-local businesses should exist, which ones are permitted. And in talking to Rathi, she wanted to know also if she's acceptable in the community. She doesn't want to just move here without being accepted.
And what type of facility is the NACPT looking to operate here in the community, Rathi?
I would say at this point, like at the beginning, we pretty much need about 3 different rooms with a reception area to run multiple program. And we are a career college. We don't focus on too many students at a time. In a batch, we normally have 10 to 25 students at a time. So we just need about 3 rooms, and maybe in future we may have a small testing lab to do some lab related training as well. So we are not looking for a big facility at this point. But eventually, when we get bigger, we may need more space to do training as well.
So what's happening right now is that the survey is taking place that you had mentioned already, Neil, for the community input. If that all goes well, what's next on the timeline for actually going forward with this project?
Well, if the community is acceptable for this business to be located here, the next step is also part of that survey that Planet Consulting is doing, is to ask preferred location. So if the community says public lands on the highways, then we would have to go back to those who have public lands on the highways. If they say private lands, then we have to seek out private landholders who may be interested. There may be other areas that the community identifies as acceptable. So we would look at it once we get that feedback from the community.
Okay, and Rathi, you talked a little bit about the different programs that the NACPT has to offer, but I was just wondering, do you feel that the NACPT is in any competition with any of the local institutions?
To be honest with you, our programs are very unique and specialty program. I don't think we will be in competition with many institutions, not only at your location, also within Toronto as well. Our programs are very specialized program in various sector, but maybe there are some common area that we can discuss, and we can try to avoid competition. But we are not there to run program with competition with any other institution. So we just want to focus on our major domain and provide the training as needed for your community. And maybe we can collaborate and partnership with other institutions within your community and try to provide the best training program for your community.
Okay, excellent. And like I was mentioning earlier, if this all goes through, the facility is located here in Kahnawake, and everything does get started. Is this going to be open to only Kahnawake students, or is this something that is going to be able to reach outside our community as well?
Okay, so we did ask this question. It was one of our concerns, I guess, in analyzing this, and it was noted that yes, it would probably be majority non-locals attending the facility. And though Rathi has offered community members to be first priority when classes are signed up, but we don't believe that we'll be able to fill the classes. That's for sure from our community. I mean, we only offset $1,500 of a tuition, and the tuition fees range. I mean, she can get into the ranges, but so not all the tuition is going to be covered. That's for sure. So we know that there's going to be majority non-locals in the classrooms.
This is part of the educational service program, and I believe this is the business attraction for your community as well. So we want to focus on Greater Montreal region to do our educational program and training program, but definitely will give high priority and certain agenda for your community to enroll in the program, just to make sure that we can give you the maximum benefit for your community before we provide training for other community members. But to be honest with you, we are a DLI institution, designated learning institution in Canada under the citizenship of immigration, so that we can actually get students and people from all over the world, not just only in Montreal, because we are designated learning institution for international students as well. So whoever is willing to come, and whoever can come to your location to do the training, we will try to accommodate them. But definitely, we will have a discussion with community members and see what is appropriate, what can be a problem. So we can always have a continuous discussion and implementation in terms of doing various training program within your community.
Now, Rathi, is this the first time that the NACPT is going to be working with an indigenous community?
Not really. We have a history of working with indigenous community. I would say nearly more than 5 years at this point. We did significant skill training program for various, indigenous community members in the past. One, we did very recently a big project for training, healthcare-related training for Sanya indigenous community members. And we also did some training program for indigenous community members from Port Perry as well. And also 2 years ago, we came to your location to do some training for your community members as well. So we did various training projects for indigenous community, and we also work with indigenous communities in terms of developing and implementing various business in various sectors as well. So we are in the skill training sector. So we'll try to help and work with your community to develop the skill and as well as to develop business as well.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about the community input aspect, more specifically the survey that's currently being conducted by Planet Consulting. Neil, when is the deadline coming up for that particular survey?
Well, it's being conducted by Planet Consulting, as we said, and it'll be taking place, I believe, sometime this week. I don't know the exact start date, and I believe it's over a 2-week period.
Okay, so once you gather all that information, I guess the next step would be to bring that back to the community?
Once we gather the information from the community, we would go back to the MCK, who will make the determination whether or not this business could be located in the community. And then from there, we would look at locations that were identified from the community as acceptable and help facilitate that in terms of where's the best location for NACPT. And they would have to, on their end, of course, they have to look at where's the possible locations as well, though it's working together with all the parties.
Okay, excellent. This is some very, very exciting news. And Rathi, if there are some community members here who are already interested in the program, how could they find out more about the NACPT?
They can check with our website, www.nacptpharmacollege.com. And we do have various program information flyers and booklets. So they can contact us through email, and we can send program information through email as well. The email ID is info@nacptpharmacollege.com. And they can also give us a call. The main phone number is 416-412-7374. They can also call our college cell number, which is 647-998-7374. They can also send a text message, and we can get back to them as well at this number. So there are various ways they can contact us, and definitely, I will advise them to go through our website as well.
Perfect. Now, before I let you guys go, was there anything else, Neil, that you might have wanted to add?
I think Rathi had mentioned it herself, but if the community is acceptable, there's a lot of steps to go through, but they wouldn't be looking to move for approximately 6 months. There's several things on their end they have to take care of as well. So it would be a minimum timeline of about 6 months. And the other thing is they're only looking for a 5-year lease at this time. So, if on NACPT's part, if the business isn't working out or if it isn't working out here, they could part ways. Same on our end. If it's public or if it's on a private land, obviously that's between the private landholder and Rathi. But that's all they're looking for right now is just a 5-year lease.
Rathi, was there anything else you wanted to add?
Actually, initially we are looking for a lease for a number of years, but then we are, if we are coming there, we are coming with a long-term plan, and then we would like to provide our services to your community and other members for a long-term basis. And I wish all the best for your community members at this new year, and looking forward to work with you if everything works well.
Neil and Rathi, thank you guys so much for joining me today to talk about this exciting initiative, and we're going to see where this goes in the future.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, Nyawa.
Thanks for listening to the Iorì wase Front Page podcast. Be sure to check out our other podcasts like Iorì wase Profiles, Meatheads, and The Beating Table on Google and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
The views and opinions of the guests expressed in this podcast do not reflect those of Iorì wase and its employees.